Let's get back to who I am and what I'm doing here. I'm dedicated to helping businesses streamline their operations and achieve new levels of efficiency. And today I'm excited to talk about why barcode scanning is just the beginning of digital transformation in your warehouse. So in other words, simply adding barcode scanners can improve things, but it's only the first step. We'll see what else is needed to fully modernize and optimize your warehouse operations. So let's go with our webinar plan. Should have probably went onto this slide first. Again, having some issues with the slides. Sorry about that. Second webinar, still having some ins and outs with the slides here for some reason, but that's okay. Our plan. So we're going to be going through a couple of things in the sessions, and our webinar will proceed as follows. So we're going to be talking about barcode scanning. First, we'll briefly review what barcode scanning is and its key advantages. This will set the foundation by showing how scanners improve accuracy and data collection. So we'll talk about that. Next, we'll discuss the remaining challenges that barcode scanning alone doesn't solve. We'll identify gaps in visibility, data integration, and other pain points that many companies still face even after adopting scanners. Then we'll explore the right approach to overcome those gaps, essentially how to modernize your warehouse or your facility with a fully integrated mobile solution. I'll describe what an ideal real-time system looks like and the steps to implement it. Okay. After that, I'll share some of the successful cases that we have. These are two real-world case studies of companies that transformed their operations using these solutions. We'll look at the problem they had, how Cleverence helped them solve those problems, and the results they achieved. And finally, we'll conclude with information on a quick guide that you'll receive after the webinar to help you basically identify any kind of pain points that you currently might have with your inventory management and help you increase ROIs on warehouse automation. And I'll provide my contact details for any follow-up questions. So that's that. So quickly, so what is barcode? Essentially, barcode is something that can hold any kind of information. There are all these different types of barcodes, but we'll not get too technical into that. But essentially, yeah, they're holding some information that we can retrieve, by scanning those barcodes. It's one of the ways of doing it, just keeping it straightforward and simple. And yeah, so here you can see a bunch of different types of barcodes. So you have like the QR codes, 2D barcodes, all these different ones. What is actually barcode scanning? So before we actually dive into the challenges and the solutions, let's make sure we're on the same page about barcode scanning. So a barcode, we're going to expand a little bit on the barcode things. So barcode is a machine-readable code in the form of numbers and parallel lines, which you've seen on products and packages everywhere, and just in the previous slide, how I showed you a couple of types of them. Barcode scanning is the actual process of using a device, so it could be a scanner or even a smartphone camera, to read those codes and instantly convert them into digital data in your system. In practice, when a worker scans an item's barcode, the scanner interprets that pattern of lines into the item's ID or details and send it to a computer. This replaces the need to type in product codes or numbers manually. Obviously speeding up the process a little bit. Now, why is barcode scanning important? So for one, it greatly speeds up data entry. So a scan takes a fraction of a second, much quicker than typing something manually. It also virtually eliminates typing errors. The scanner reads the code accurately instead of a person keying in digits, which of course could be mistyped, as I mentioned. Scanner is also very easy to learn. Anyone can pick up a scanner and start using it with minimal training. Essentially, barcode scanning is a fundamental building block of warehouse automation, allowing quick and reliable identification of items. So that's basically that. Can we go to the next one? Yes, we can. Nice. So barcode scanning advantages. Our next slide. This one basically highlights the key advantages of using barcode scanning in operations, and I'd like to expand on each of these points. So it's high accuracy. Scanning drastically reduces human error. When you scan a barcode, you're far less likely to make a mistake compared to typing in SKU numbers or writing data on paper. So this means inventory counts and transaction records are more accurate by default, since you're virtually eliminating transcription errors, essentially like that. A mistyped digit can cost hours of troubleshooting, so this accuracy is a huge benefit. Also, mobile flexibility is something, another point that I would like to talk about. Barcode scanners, especially modern wireless ones, or mobile computers, or PDTs as they call them, let your staff take the technology to the product rather than being tied to a desk. So workers can move around the warehouse aisles with a handheld scanner or mobile device. This mobility means they can update records on the spot, which is crucial. Whether they're receiving goods at the dock or picking items off a shelf, this speeds up the entire workflow, whenever we're using these mobile devices. We don't need to walk to the actual desktop computer to, connect it to the computer, and then, it's not mobile essentially. Simple. Also, another point that I want to talk about is better data collection. With scanning, you can capture a lot more data and do it in real time. So every scan can record item IDs, locations, timestamps, and user IDs instantly into your system. You're not waiting until the end of the day to enter piles of paperwork. All of this is done, it's real-time data capture. And it leads to more timely and informed decisions, which is also very important. Managers can see stock levels or transaction statuses immediately after they occur, not like at the end of the day, for example. So again, very huge point here. Another thing to mention is the ease of use. So barcode systems are generally user-friendly, as we quickly touched base on that in the previous slides. It's very simple for anyone to pick up and use. So essentially, the devices and software interfaces are designed to be intuitive. Often it's just point and click or beep. So very simple. New or temporary workers can be trained quickly since they don't need to memorize product codes or complex procedures. They just follow on-screen prompts and scan. It's as simple as that. So this reduces training costs and increases consistency. In short, barcode scanning technology is accessible and straightforward, which helps with user adoption and compliance. So again, a couple of interesting points that needed to be expanded on. So now that we have that, so what are the challenges that still remain, or is there any? Let's dive in a little bit deeper. So barcode scanning is a great start, but it's not a complete solution on its own. Why is that? After implementing basic scanning, many companies discovered there are still significant challenges that remain. And let's, dive a little bit deeper into each one of these points that you see on the screen. So limited visibility. Even if workers scan those items, you might not have full real-time visibility across the operation unless those scans update a central system instantly. In many setups, there's still a lag. Managers might only see the data after someone uploads it or at the end of the day. So they don't have an up-to-the-minute view of inventory or order status. In short, the visibility is limited, so you're still partly in the dark during the day because we don't have the actual live data being shown. So one of the things to consider. Next, so we got limited visibility out of the way. Let's go with the difficulty managing multiple locations. Let's see what we have here. So if your business has more than one warehouse or storage location or facility, whatever you want to call it, or even just multiple departments within one warehouse, barcode scanning alone doesn't automatically coordinate among them. Companies struggle to manage inventory across multiple sites if the systems aren't integrated. You might have scanners in each location, but if their data isn't consolidated, it's hard to get a global picture. Keeping stock balances aligned between, say, warehouse A and warehouse B can remain challenging because if we don't have that all centralized, then you also need to juggle between two different like data sets essentially. What else? So risk of data loss or duplication. That's a tough one. That's a big one. But let's see what we have. What's some of the information that I can share on this? So we've seen cases where where scanned data sits on devices or in spreadsheets and occasionally gets lost, or the same data is recorded twice. For example, if scans are stored on a handheld and someone forgets to upload them, those records can be lost. Conversely, if two people handle the same data, you might accidentally import it twice. Without a robust system, using scanners can still result in lost or duplicated information, which undermines the accuracy advantage. Completely gets rid of the whole all the advantages that we spoke about moments ago. What else do we have here? So the other thing to talk about is that if there's no integration with other operations, scanning by itself is often a standalone process. So what that means is you're just doing the scanning, but where is the information going to? So it might be a standalone process, not tied into the broader business workflow. So you might capture the inventory data with scanners, but that data might not flow automatically into your ERP or accounting systems in real time. It also might not trigger updates to related processes like reordering or updating a customer's order status. In effect, barcode scanning can become a silo. Essentially, without integration, other departments like purchasing, sales, etc., still don't get real-time updates. So the promise of digital transformation isn't fully realized if the scanning isn't connected to anything else. So essentially, these are some of the things that we still need to consider when we're, if we just purchase those scanners and we're doing everything with them. That's a good big step, but we also need to consider and think of everything that I just spoke about. So let's keep on going. So this slide. Now we're going to compare a couple of things of basically some of the ways that businesses work around these inefficiencies, and all the options that we have out there, and what are the from our perspective and from my perspective is the best idea and the best solution to actually have data working properly for you. Well, let's just start with that. We're not going to get too complex here. So using scanners as standalone data collectors. So why do those challenges occur that we just spoke about? Let's talk about some common stop-gap approaches businesses take and why those can fall short. So the first approach we see is companies using barcode scanners as standalone data collectors. What does that mean? Essentially, they give workers handheld scanners to capture data, but the scanners aren't connected to the main system in real time. So for example, a worker might scan items during receiving, picking, shipping, and the scanner stores those transactions locally. So you think it's great, but here's the caveat. People often treat the scanner like a clipboard, just an electronic one. It holds the data until later. The drawback here is that after scanning, there's usually a manual step to transfer that data. Workers might have to dock the scanner or plug it in to upload the batch of scans to a computer at the end of their shift. Until that happens, the information that they collected isn't in your ERP or database. So this approach is better than pure paper, of course, but it still introduces delays. Essentially, the scanner is being used in offline mode. The data sits on the device and isn't actionable by others in the organization until someone manually moves it. So if a supervisor wants to know at 2 p.m. what has been received or picked, they might still have to call someone or wait for an update because the scans haven't been uploaded yet. So another issue here is data integrity. If the device fails or isn't synced properly, you could lose those scanned records or end up with duplicate uploads. I've seen cases where someone forgets to upload a handheld's data and inventory numbers get skewed until it's caught later. So not the greatest thing right there. In short, using scanners in isolation without live connectivity only partially addresses the problem. It collects data digitally but doesn't ensure that data is timely or integrated. So again, hopefully you're kind of seeing where we're going with this. So that was one of the solutions that we've seen, one of the, I guess, tools that are being used to speed up those processes, but it's not a full solution as we are talking about here. So let's go to the next one. Did I switch the slide? Yes, I have. Label printing without system sync. Perfect. So let's go to the next workaround. This one that we encounter here is label printing without system synchronization. So essentially here, companies create and print barcode labels for their products or locations, which is a good idea in principle. The typical scenario, someone uses Excel or an add-on tool to generate barcodes and labels for items. Perhaps they label every shelf and every product with a barcode so things can be scanned. That's great for identification purposes. However, the problem is these labels aren't linked to a central database or the ERP in real time. So they might just be static codes. For instance, you could label a bin as A1 with a barcode and an item as, for example, product 123 with a barcode. But unless your ERP knows the relationship between that bin location and that product, for example, at all times, simply scanning those labels later might not update any records automatically. So many times the process is print labels from a spreadsheet, stick them on items, and then workers scan those into another spreadsheet or form when doing transactions. If the labeling system isn't synchronized with the main inventory system, you get situations where labels exist independently, essentially. We've seen cases where people relabel items or locations and forget to update the master data. So the scan might read a code that the system doesn't actually recognize, or it might point to outdated info. Additionally, labeling errors can creep in. That's something else. That's also in addition to everything that I just spoke about. If someone manually types data into an Excel to print a label, they might mistype a product code or print duplicates. So the slide notes that an estimated 3 to 7% of labeling errors can lead to picking the wrong items. Not really good. And actually, let me make sure that I have, yeah, no, we're good. I am on the right slide. Each mislabeled item can cause a cascade of issues, picking errors, returns, rework, and since these labels aren't checked against a live system, those errors often aren't caught until after a mistake happens. So not really great. Essentially, printing barcodes without an integrated system means you have nice barcodes on everything, but you haven't solved the core issue of linking those barcodes to a single source of truth. So one central system. It's like having the pieces of a puzzle but not fitting them together. That's how we're thinking about it. So another way. Let's go to the next one. The third ineffective practice is what I call manual data uploads after scanning. This often goes hand in hand with using standalone scanners, as we discussed in a previous slide, I think, or the one before that. After workers scan items, how does that data get into the ERP or inventory software? In many setups, the answer is a person manually moves it. So, for example, an employee might export the scan logs from a device via USB or Bluetooth at the end of the day. They get a text file or CSV file. Then they import that into Excel or into the ERP system using some import tool or by copy pasting. This process is cumbersome and introduces delay and errors. If you have to do an export-import dance, it means the data isn't flowing automatically. There's also a risk each time you do it, perhaps the import template doesn't match perfectly, or someone might accidentally skip a file or import the same file twice. This slide suggests that on average 1 to 1.5 hours per day per employee can be wasted on these kind of manual data handling tasks. And occasional upload errors that require additional work to fix, think about that. If each of your warehouse staff spends even an extra hour daily transferring and verifying data, that's a huge productivity loss across, say, 20 employees. And I'm thinking of where I have this. Yeah, I think on the next slides we're gonna have some more numbers. So hold on to that. We're gonna get to that. So, where was I? There we go. So I've seen situations where an entire role exists just to consolidate and upload scanner data. Actually, I've seen that a lot. Effectively, a person acting as the API between the scanners and the ERP. Essentially, it's exactly what they're doing. Their whole work is based to just get the data from the scanners from offline scans that they did and push them to the ERP system. Very cumbersome. So not only is that inefficient, it's also error prone. That's another big thing. Human errors are always there. So if the person is out sick or makes a mistake, the whole system can fall behind. This manual upload approach creates a bottleneck and prevents real-time updates. So if something was scanned at 10 a.m. and it might not be reflected in the ERP until hours later after that manual import. So in the meantime, someone else could be making decisions on outdated information. Not really good. So relying on manual data uploads means you lose much of the benefit of fast data capture because you're slowing it down at the last mile. So very not nice. Oh, I think we do get the cost breakdown as well after. Nice. Okay, manual reporting from scanned data. So the fourth issue that we've noticed is manual reporting from scanned data. So this usually occurs as a consequence of the previous practices. So essentially, if your scanning process isn't fully integrated, managers often end up manually compiling reports. So for instance, a supervisor might take the exported scan logs or multiple Excel sheets from different workers and then spend a chunk of time aggregating them to figure out what happened that day or week. Not really nice. So the slide for do I have the slide? Yes, I do. Perfect. The slide with all the numbers, we're going to get to that in a second. So just give me 1 minute. We're almost there. This could take 10 to 15 hours per week of someone's time just to crunch data that's already been captured once. So again, a lot of extra labor that we incur, and again, when people are dealing with these kind of paper workflows, there's a lot of mistakes that are just bound to happen. So it's another thing to note here. But yes, it takes 10 to 15 hours per week for that poor guy that's doing that job. But anyways, let's keep on going. So because this reporting isn't automated or real time, has a few consequences. So first, it's labor intensive, as I already quickly mentioned. Second is delayed information. That's something I didn't talk about. If it takes a week to find out, for example, how many orders were picked or how many errors occurred, you're always reacting late. Sometimes a week late. That's crazy. Decisions get made on stale data, which isn't ideal in a dynamic warehouse environment. So this slide explicitly points out that these manual reporting practices lead to delays in decision making and limited visibility into operations. Essentially, by the time a report is compiled, the situation may have changed. It's not live data. You can't really do much about it. Gotta go with the full solution. So, moreover, manually prepared reports can have inaccuracies, as I already talked about as well. People might miss key numbers or miss out data file when combining things. It also tends to hide details. You often get summary info but might lose the granular trail of what actually happened because it's not in one system where you can drill it down, get that information. In summary, if your warehouse supervisor is still spending hours every week preparing reports from scanner data, it's a sign that your barcode solution isn't fully delivering value. You're capturing data digitally, that's good, but then converting it back into a manual process to understand that data. Not good. So that's exactly what it is. So let's go to the next one. The cost of ineffective solutions. And I have 2 slides for this one. So we've discussed 4 common practices using disconnected scanners, unsynced label printing, manual data uploads, and manual reporting. Individually, each of these introduce waste and error, and together they cost the business a lot of money. Let's quantify it. Imagine a mid-sized warehouse with about 20 employees handling around 10,000 SKUs or items per month, and an average labor cost of $20 an hour. That's a fairly typical scenario. Now consider the inefficiencies from those ineffective solutions in that context. Let's expand on that now with the numbers. So, with scanners used in offline mode, the delay in verification steps means some scans never make it or have to be redone. In our example, 5 to 10% of scans might get lost or duplicated each month, and workers spend an extra 1 to 2 hours per day verifying scan data is complete and correct. That labor and confusion has a real cost, obviously. Then we have unsynced labeling leads to mislabels and mistakes. This in that slide we had there was 3 to 7% of labels could have errors, leading to workers picking the wrong items. So this is some of the technical, some of the statistics that we found out based on the research that we did. So each mispick or return due to a bad label costs additional labor and possibly lost sales or customer trust. There's also time spent relabeling and sorting out those errors. Not great. Then we have manual uploads of data waste employee time, obviously. As mentioned, potentially over an hour per person daily, and can cause errors that require work. Let's say each of your 20 employees loses an hour a day to this. That's 20 hours a day of productivity loss, which is at $20 an hour, about $400 per day of just sorting data. Not really good, and a lot of time spent on the employees. They could have been doing something better. Also, manual reporting consumes supervisors or managers' hours and delays insight. If a manager spends 10 hours a week on reporting, that's 10 hours not spent optimizing operations and solving problems, essentially overhead. So when you add all this up, we're estimating a total loss. Oh, there we go. That's where it should have been. Sorry. So on this slide, the estimate is a total of $12,000 to $17,000, right? Yes, that's exactly what we're looking at per month for that mid-size warehouse, which comes out to roughly $144,000 or $200,000 per year in waste. Huge numbers. These costs come in the form of extra labor, mistakes, and inefficiencies. Essentially, money spent on work that doesn't add value. So to break it down per category monthly, the standalone scanning issues might be costing around $3,500 to $5,500 a month. The unsynchronized labeling about $2,800 to $4,200 a month, and the manual upload processes roughly $3,000 to $4,000 a month. And now the manual reporting another $2,500 to $3,800 a month. Each of these is a chunk of cash bleeding out of operations. Together, it's significant, on the order of a couple $100,000 a year that could be saved or reallocated if these inefficiencies were addressed. So the bottom line here, patchwork solutions have hidden costs. It's easy to say, oh, we're doing okay with our scanners in Excel. A lot of people do. But when you quantify the labor hours and error-related costs, it becomes clear that a more effective approach could save a lot of money and headaches. So this sets the stage for discussing the right way to do it, how to avoid these losses by using barcode technology in a smarter, integrated manner. So let's dive into that. So what is the right way? Let me just confirm that I have everything good here. Perfect. We're right on track. We're right where we want to be. Perfect. So what is the right way? Get some interesting information here. We'll expand on everything we've talked about and finally find that right solution. How do we fix all these issues? How do we save all that money? How do we speed up the process? This is exactly what we'll dive into right now. So, am I on the right slide? Yes. Sorry, I have to keep checking the slides because sometimes it, some reason skips. So, still learning, making sure that everything is good for the audience. So now, let's get back to the program. What is the right way? So if those methods that we talked about aren't truly effective, you might be asking, what is the right way to overcome these challenges? And I'll give you that answer. The answer is to modernize your warehouse operations with barcoding and mobile technologies in a way that tightly integrates with your ERP system, in singular. Hopefully you don't have multiple ERP systems in your operations. In other words, instead of working around the ERP with ad hoc fixes, you extend your system to the warehouse floor in real time. Scanning should be directly connected to your backend, and processes should be digitized end to end. These are three core pillars to this modern approach, and let's break down what each entails in practice. So barcode implementation. This is the foundation. You assign barcodes to all goods and locations in a structured way. We need to restructure inventory management around barcodes. That means every product, pallet, bin location, etc. gets a unique scannable code if it doesn't have one already. We create standardized label templates and print labels for any items or locations that are missing them. There we go. That's that. By doing a thorough barcoding implementation and cleaning up any old incorrect labels, we ensure that everything in the warehouse is tagged and can be identified instantly by a scanner. This lays the groundwork for accurate, efficient tracking because nothing moves or changes status without a barcode scan to record it. Essentially, we're building a reliable digital twin of your physical inventory where each piece has a digital identity. Hopefully that makes sense. So we started with the barcoding, essentially. We need to barcode everything. All the movement needs to be scanned. Any sort of movement of the product, we do the scan first. Let's have that in the back of our heads. So then, the next step is the digital tools. We equip your warehouse staff with modern mobile barcode scanners and devices. This could be dedicated handheld computer with scanning capability or even tablets, phones with scanning sleds. Devices that can run our Cleverence software, essentially. Pretty much, as long as it's on Android or Windows OS, most likely it will work out of the box on your device. The key is these tools are connected wirelessly to your ERP or database. So instead of carrying paper documents, workers will use these mobile devices to receive tasks lists like pick orders or put away lists, receiving, all that stuff. Any kind of work order will be coming to that device and record transactions on the spot. For example, when they pick an order, they scan the item's barcode and the bin's barcode. The quantity is entered and that transaction is instantly recorded in the system over Wi-Fi. So if they receive a delivery, they scan products as they unload and the purchase order in the ERP is updated in real time. So again, right away, all that information, the flow, as soon as we do the scan, as soon as we complete that document, we already can see those that data, those updates in our central system. So these digital tools bring your ERP onto the warehouse floor, meaning staff don't have to run back and forth to a PC and there's no end-to-end, end-of-the-day data entry. Each scan is a live transaction in the system. This is not only to speed up the work, since scanning is faster than writing, typing later, obviously, but also to ensure the central database is always up to date with the latest movements. So workers essentially have the ERP in their hands through a user-friendly app that guides them through their tasks. Team training and process integration. Let's go to the next step. Technology alone isn't enough, obviously. We'll also focus on training the employees and integrating new processes. When we introduce mobile scanning and new software, we make sure to train staff on the new devices, the barcode scanning procedures, and the digital workflows. It's important that everyone understands how to use these tools confidently and follows the new standardized processes or procedures. Along with training, we often adjust warehouse operations, standard operating procedures, to fully integrate the barcode-driven approach. For instance, previously a picker might have grabbed items and then written down what they took. In the new process, they will follow prompts on the device, scan each item, and get immediate feedback if something is off. Supervisors might shift from chasing paperwork to monitoring a dashboard that shows task completion in real time. So we align the new technology with daily routines so that it fits naturally into the workday. The goal is to embed the changes into the operation such that it becomes the new normal. And because we've trained the team, they can smoothly transition, and we see high adoption rates. People often appreciate that the new system makes their jobs easier, of course, because less manual writing, less confusion. It's very, very basic. So in short, the right way is comprehensive implementation of barcoding and mobile data capture combined with process change and training. This eliminates the manual paper-based delays and errors by connecting your people and inventory directly to the ERP system in real time instead of having two separate worlds, the warehouse floor and the ERP database. You have one unified system where data flows instantly from the floor to the office and back. Essentially, that's what it is. So let's look at the final system. So what does your operation look like after implementing this modern mobile system? In this slides, it essentially gives you a quick picture of the key features and benefits and achieve essentially a warehouse that's now an extension of your ERP running in real time. Here are the highlights of the final system. Real-time, accurate data. So every transaction on the warehouse floor updates the ERP instantly. You always have an accurate document status in the system for warehouse operations. If something is picked, moved, or received, the system reflects it immediately. This real-time data exchange ensures that the information in your ERP matches the reality in the warehouse at all times. There's no end-to-end syncing, it's continuous. The benefit is obvious. Management and staff can trust that the stock levels and order statuses they see on screen are up to date to the minute. Problems like overselling an item because someone took something and the system hadn't been updated are eliminated fully. Remote supervision visibility. Because data is updating live, managers can have remote visibility into warehouse activities at any time. You can monitor operations from an office or even off-site. See which orders are being picked right now, which putaways are completed, and so on, without physically walking the floor. For example, a supervisor could pull up a dashboard and see that John is 50% through pick and order number 1001, while Sarah just completed receiving a shipment of 50 units of item X. This remote supervision means better control and the ability to respond faster. If there is a bottleneck, management sees it as it happens and can intervene or reallocate resources. Essentially, you can manage by exception in real time. The system will highlight if something is delayed or if there is an error, like a misscan, and you can address it immediately. Overall, both warehouse managers and higher level executives get much more visibility into operational KPIs day to day without waiting for reports. Oh, skip that. So, convenient mobile workspace. In the final system, the warehouse becomes a truly mobile and paperless workplace. Workers carry mobile devices, and all necessary information travels with them. There are no paper printouts for picks or pack lists, which means there's no chance of someone grabbing an outdated beacon sheet or losing a paper in transit. Everything is on the device with real-time updates. Plus, on-the-spot verification is built in, for instance, so if a worker tries to pick the wrong item, the device will alert them immediately. Maybe it beeps or flashes a warning if a scanned item doesn't match the word. This ensures correctness at the source, reducing errors dramatically. Also, the mobile system can guide workers, showing them the optimal, convenient route, or suggesting the next task, which boosts productivity. The work is more convenient. Instead of trudging back and forth to computer to enter data or get new assignments, employees can do all their tasks on site with a handheld. So this tends to improve morale and efficiency. Less idle walking around, more getting things done. And because it's all digital, mundane tasks like filing paperwork or manually keying in data at the day's end are eliminated. So in summary, the warehouse operates in real time with full visibility and zero paper. It's effectively a smart warehouse environment where companies that reach this stage report major improvements. So significantly faster processing of orders, near elimination of certain types of errors, and much better agility in operations. We'll actually see some of these results quantified in the case studies next. So quickly going to go into the some of the software products that we have, some of the applications that we've built. So at this point, you might wonder, how do we achieve this practically? This is where Cleverence solutions come into play. So Cleverence offers a suite of software products tailored to different operational needs, all designed to extend your ERP to the front line and capture data in real time. So the slide shows our main product lineup, and I'm not gonna dive too deep into them, but let's quickly go over them. So Factory 15, the solution is geared towards manufacturing of production environments. If you have a factory floor, assembly line, or any production process, Factory 15 helps track work in progress, manage materials, and collect data on the production floor with barcode, RFID, and mobile devices. It's like bringing the power of real-time tracking to the factory operations. Sometimes we refer to this as our industry solution for manufacturing. So think of that for a second. If you have a factory, you probably need Factory 15. So Warehouse 15, this is our flagship product for wholesale and distribution warehouses. So everything we've been talking about, from receiving and put away to picking, packing, stock taking, etc. Warehouse 15 is built to handle that. It integrates with your ERP systems like SAP, Oracle, Odoo. We already have those integrations, Microsoft Dynamics, but we have many more. Not going to go through all of them. And adds that mobile layer for warehouse management. It's commonly used by distributors, 3PLs, and retail warehouses hubs. It also covers things like asset management for tracking company assets in the warehouse or yard, which is mentioned on the slide as well. Essentially keeping tabs on equipment or tools using the same platform. Essentially, that's what it is. Now, we have Retail 15. As the name suggests, this product is for retail operations. For example, managing inventory on the store floor or in back rooms of retail stores. Retail 15 lets store staff do things like inventory counts, price checks, shelf restocking and sales floor replenishment using mobile devices, all again integrated to the central backend or ERP system. It's used by chain stores to keep their inventory accurate across multiple shops in real time, ensuring what's on the shelf matches what's in the system. It's basically extending the ERP to the retail frontline staff. Now, Express 15, this is our solution for quick deployment and simpler needs. It's a bit lighter weight and is great for scenarios like field sales, small warehouses, or quick implementations. For instance, Express 15 can allow you to create and manage orders using just an Android smartphone. It's very useful for speeding up sales processes, issuing electronic invoices on the go, or running a small-scale warehouse without big IT setup. Think of Express 15 as an out-of-the-box mobile inventory app for essentially deliveries. That's exactly what it is. So for like van sales, service inventory, or any situation where you want something up and running fast, despite being Express, it still connects to your core system to sync data. So all of these products share the same philosophy. They tie your frontline operations, whether it's a warehouse or a factory or a store, directly into ERP or accounting system with mobile technology. They differ by context to better fit the needs of each environment. By choosing the module that fits your business, you can rapidly deploy a solution to digitize those processes we've been talking about. Everything that we've discussed so far. And importantly, they can scale. If you start with one warehouse, you can roll it out to multiple sites, or if you add a manufacturing unit later, the solutions are designed to integrate and work together, of course. So that's something to look out for. Now, let's go to the next slide. There we go. So essentially, this is another slide that we have here. So now, let's say you're interested in moving to this kind of a system. What does the implementation journey look like? Adopting a new solution can seem daunting, but we break it down into clear steps. So this next slide will outline a quick step-by-step process for implementing Cleverence, or any similar solution, realistically. I'll walk through these stages. So I'm not going to get too much into this, but essentially we usually have a quick briefing where we have a quick meeting. We try to understand what you are looking for, what you need, and then we go from there. And we can actually discuss that further. Then we have a joint chat, so essentially like a project discussion. The idea here is to start direct communication with a dedicated project manager on our side. So essentially we again ask some questions as they come up. We can gather more specifics and align expectations and strategies. So we basically form a joint project team with key stakeholders from your side and ours, and we explore the needs further. After that, we usually set up a demo where we basically show you how the application works, whichever one that may be, and that's basically it. We show you exactly what it works like, and after that, you and your team can actually try out the mobile app, see the ERP integration, and basically validate that the solution meets your expectations. So we create a demo, like a pilot for you, to maybe with one operation to test out in your in your setting, essentially, within your actual operations with your inventory. And after that, after the demo, if everything is great and you're excited and we've addressed the functional questions, we move to the proposal stage. So obviously we sit down, discuss everything further, and come up with the actual full commercial proposal. So once the offer is accepted and everything like that, just explaining basic things, but this is exactly how we work with our clients as well. So essentially after that, everything is good. We set up a project, we write out exact the phases of the rollout, everything that's happening, and start our work. And then after that, the actual implementation and the go live time. To mention here as well, the implementation usually takes 4 to 8 weeks if we're already integrated with the backend ERP system that you have. As I mentioned, we have the SAP, SAP, Odoo, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle NetSuite, Shopify, Xero, a couple of other ones as well. I'm not going to go over all of them, but keep in mind if the integration is already ready, usually the implementation time takes 4 to 8 weeks due to complexity and the customization that needs to happen for your specific operation. Again, we try to tailor our solution specifically to what you need in your workflow. We don't want to change it, we just want to automate it. Get rid of those manual processes that we spoke about that cause a lot of issues in our operations, essentially. So that's that. So let's go next. How do we calculate the project cost? This is just a general pricing. Obviously, this is not something hard set in stone, but let's talk briefly about that. And so let's go here. There we go. So for the hardware, this is just a general price. All of this is just a general price, essentially, depending on the solution, depending on the application that you're looking for. The price may vary, but this is general kind of like mid-range price for everything. So for the hardware, the mid price would be 500 to 750 for the mobile computer. If we're talking about the label printer, it would be around $500. Again, we don't provide the hardware, by the way. We help you source it if needed through us. We have our partners who help us, get the best deals, the best hardware for our clients. But if you have your own, most likely, as I mentioned earlier, our applications will work on your devices as long as they run on Android and Windows OS. But let us know just in case. But most likely it will work. Otherwise, we can help you source the hardware. So our software, and this is specifically what we do, what we provide from our side, software and the services. So we have the lifetime license. We have different license tiers, but this is again just a general price. This is a lifetime purchase at $11.89. That's for our advanced tier, I believe. So this is our mid-tier license. Yeah. So everything is we took was the mid price. Per month license for the actual if we're doing subscription, it's around actually $60 a month. This cost is we've taken for the 3 months because we only do three or 6 month licenses for our subscriptions. So that's basically what it took. But yeah, for the monthly license, it's around $60. Yeah. So now, as you can see here, is just we have some base pricing for just to get you up and running. Just to get a couple of operations set up, get the warehouse team training going on, and some of the implementation costs as well. As you can see here, we have receiving, stock taking, picking, and shipping. All of that is the cost is around $500. Sure. So that's what we have, and we have the license, and we have the full price with it in mind that we have the per month option and a one-time lifetime purchase. As you can see, it's not a huge investment to get you already on the road to actually have a successful operation that has the data flowing properly, as we already discussed today. So we want to make sure that we do that. So the pricing is pretty flexible. So, if you have any more questions on the prices, I can definitely help you out. Just contact me after. I'll show you the slide with my contacts as well. So now, let's keep on going. Yeah, I had a lot of text for this, but I didn't want to expand it too much. So now, I have 2 case studies that I wanted to share with you. And after that, we're pretty much good. We're pretty much all set. So I'm not going to take up much more of your time. We've been going on for about an hour. Really good. So let's finish it off strong with some of the case studies. So let's make this concrete. That's a good one that I wrote. With a real world example. So our first case study is APMG, a spare parts 3PL distributor based in Dubai, UAE. They supply automotive spare parts, and we're running their warehouse with a custom backend system, but very manual on the warehouse floor. So APMG's warehouse was struggling with inefficiencies in order processing and inventory control. Here's a breakdown of their story. So challenge. APMG's warehouse was very paper-driven and manual, which caused frequent delays and errors. Staff often had to search for products in an unaddressed storage system, and they made picking mistakes. The lack of real-time tracking meant they had poor visibility of stock. Often, the numbers in the system didn't match the reality on the shelves, and in short, manual inventory handling caused a lot of delays, errors, and poor visibility into operations. So this was holding back their throughput. Orders took longer to fulfill, and sometimes shipments were wrong or late, affecting customer satisfaction. Just give me 1 second. All right, good. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. All right, let's keep on going. So, where were we? So yeah, that caused a lot of, essentially, a lot of holdbacks on their actual throughput and their production there as well. So solution. So APMG partnered with us to modernize their warehouse, and we implemented Cleverence Warehouse 15 as their mobile first middleware layer between their ERP systems and the actual warehouse floor. We addressed the storage layout by introducing an address storage system, essentially labeling all bin locations properly. The mobile devices were integrated with their ERP so that every scan would update the central system instantly. And concretely, we digitized core processes, so delivery planning, supplier order receiving, stock put away, and order picking. Instead of printing out pick lists or receiving forms, workers received tasks on the handhelds and scanned items at each step. So by doing so, we enabled real-time data capture and ERP integration on the warehouse floor. Essentially, we brought the solution we described in this webinar to life in APMG's warehouse. So some of the results. So the improvements were quickly noticeable. With directed put away and picking via the devices, order processing became much faster and more accurate. They essentially eliminated the searching time because the system could direct workers to the exact bin locations of each part. The immediate recording of every transaction meant their inventory records became highly accurate. No more end-of-day surprises. They also found that they could carry lower inventory levels safely because they had better visibility, thus lower inventory holding costs. And customers were happier because orders were fulfilled correctly and on time more consistently. To summarize the results, the slide list. So we had faster, more accurate order processing, lower inventory costs, real-time stock control, and higher customer satisfaction. So outcome. APMG effectively transformed into a modern, efficient, and scalable warehouse operation. Let me share some key metrics that highlight this transformation. They saw a 4-time increase in inventory turnover ratio, meaning inventory moved 4 times faster than before, indicating they were able to fulfill orders much more quickly. They also managed to utilize their storage space far better. The address storage and better organization effectively added plus 10,000 square meters of usable storage area. Imagine that. Because everything was organized and could be accounted for. Most impressively, they achieved a 99% reduction in staff errors in picking and data entry. Mistakes in order fulfillment virtually disappeared. In fact, one specific stat for their e-commerce spare parts orders in the UAE, they managed to increase order fulfillment speed by about 10 times after the implementation. Something, the slide notes there. Yeah, we do have a note there. Am I on the right slide? Yes, I am. Good. So we used to maybe take, say, 10 hours, now it took 1 hour, or it took 10 days, now it took 1 day. However you frame it, that's a huge efficiency jump. You can imagine as well, like cycle counts became much quicker also. Obviously, taking all these stats in became about 10 times faster. So all these gains meant they could process more orders with the same staff, scale up their business, and provide a much better service level to their customers. And to give a little context to these numbers, APMG handles tens of thousands of SKUs with a relatively small team of warehouse workers. By implementing the Cleverence solutions, they were able to handle that volume with high accuracy and speed without needing to massively increase headcount. It's also, a very important piece of information here. This case demonstrates how moving from a paper-based manual process to a fully integrated mobile system can yield dramatic improvements on the order of 4 times or 10 times in key performance metrics. Very good results. So hopefully that gave you some, impressions of the amount of automation that we can do, and everything that we spoke about today. That it really does bring so many key benefits to the operations. Next one we have is Blacksmith Coffee Company. And let's dive in here as well. There we go. So our second success story is the Blacksmith Coffee Company, a specialty coffee roasting company also in the UAE. They roast high quality coffee beans and sell them through their own cafes as well as directly to customers, retail and wholesale. This case showcases how even a smaller business can greatly benefit from warehouse and production automation. And let's dive into this one. Challenge. Blacksmith Coffee was experiencing some errors and inefficiencies in their production and fulfillment process. They prided themselves on quality, so any mistake was a concern. For instance, occasionally an incorrect entry or a missing record could lead to a batch of coffee being mislabeled or a customer receiving the wrong coffee blend. These errors weren't rampant, but they did happen from time to time, and when you are a premium brand, that's not acceptable. Essentially, their manual tracking methods caused inventory errors and workflow delays. They were using spreadsheets and manual logs to track roasting batches, packaging, and orders. As the company started to grow, those methods couldn't keep up. It was hard to maintain accuracy and traceability from the roasting stage all the way to delivery. They realized that to scale and maintain their quality, they needed a more robust system to manage production and inventory. So, solution. We implemented our Cleverence Warehouse 15 for Blacksmith Coffee, focusing on their production and warehouse operations. In practice, we introduced mobile terminals on the production floor and in the warehouse, and used a QR code barcode scanning to track every step of their workflow. When raw coffee beans arrive, staff scan them into inventory. As beans are roasted and moved into the packaging stage, new labels with barcodes or QR codes are generated for each batch. And those are scanned to record the roasting output. When orders come in, say a cafe needs 50 bags of a certain roast, or an online customer orders a few bags, the picking and packing of those orders are done with scans as well. So from receiving raw materials through production to finished goods and order fulfillment, everything is captured in one central system. We also integrated this with their existing QuickBooks system, QuickBooks Online, I believe, which they use for accounting and a little bit for the ERP, so that sales orders from QuickBooks flow into the mobile app for fulfillment, and inventory updates flow back into the QuickBooks in real time. So the result was full workflow automation with real-time data, essentially a mini factory floor system combined with warehouse management, but at a scale appropriate for a smaller business. Blacksmith teams of roasters and packers started using mobile devices to log each step rather than paper forms. The outcomes for Blacksmith Coffee were excellent. By digitizing and integrating their process, they saw fewer errors and faster fulfillment almost immediately. For example, if a bag of coffee was mislabeled before, it would be caught because the system would flag if something didn't match, or simply because the labeling process was now tied to scanning the correct batch info. They reported that inventory counts became very accurate. They always knew exactly how much of each coffee roast was in stock, which prevented stockouts at their cafes and overpromising online. The real-time visibility meant managers could see the status of roasting schedules and order fulfillment at a glance. Also, the system is scalable. As they add new roasts or more orders, the same process handles it, so they can grow without chaos. Importantly, they maintained their premium product quality throughout. In fact, it improved because there was clear traceability for each batch of coffee. So, if a question ever arose about a batch, they could quickly pull up data on when it was roasted, by whom, and which orders it went into. In terms of speed, they were able to fulfill orders faster as well. While I don't have a specific number on slides for throughput increase, qualitatively, the team said that what used to be a rush at the end of the day to compile orders became a smooth throughout the day process. So, made their life much easier. And the outcome, finally. In summary, digital transformation boosted efficiency while preserving Blacksmith's Coffee excellence. They essentially got the benefits of big company automation on a small business scale. In need context, Blacksmith Coffee's operation isn't huge. They have about 8 workers in their production warehouse team, and they manage around 5,000 SKUs, many varieties and package sizes of coffee products. And as I mentioned, they use QuickBooks Online as their backend system. By implementing our system, those 8 people could do a lot more with less effort. So they doubled their effective throughput. Anecdotally, they mentioned being able to handle over 2 times the orders per week after implementation without adding any staff. So, and they did so without compromising on quality control. In fact, quality assurance improved because every step was logged and traceable. Blacksmith Coffee can now confidently scale up their sales, open new cafe locations, or expand online orders, knowing their inventory and production system will support it. So this case study shows that you don't have to be a giant warehouse to benefit from these solutions. Even a specialized small business can streamline operations, reduce errors to nearly zero, and get real-time insight, which ultimately helps them grow and serve customers better. So that's that. And what else do we have? We have the next steps. We have the free guide that will be sent out after our webinar here. And essentially it guides you through a structured approach to ramping up the return on investment when you undertake an automation projects. Essentially that's what it is. And along with the guide, we'll include our contact information again and a summary of today's webinar in case you want to refer back or forward it to your colleagues. Share it as well. We'd love to, get some feedback, get some possible contacts who are in something similar. They're in a position where they're looking into improving, automating their operations. I would love to chat. So, so you can get in contact with me using these options, and that's basically it. So thank you for being a wonderful audience. We're now at the end of our webinar. I'd like to conclude with a few important points and then provide my contact information as you already see on the screen there for any follow-up questions. First, to recap the core message. Barcode scanning technology is a powerful tool. It brings high accuracy and efficiency, but it's just the beginning of a true digital transformation in the warehouse. To really excel in warehouse and inventory management, you need to extend your ERP with real-time mobile capabilities and integrate those scans into end-to-end processes. That's where solutions like Cleverence come in. They let you have the best of both worlds. The robustness of your existing ERP system and the agility and real-time visibility of a modern mobile data capture system. We saw in the case studies how companies achieved tremendous improvements. Faster operations, fewer errors, major cost savings by bridging that gap between their ERP and the shop floor. I encourage you to evaluate your own operations for these opportunities. Think about these inefficiencies we highlighted. Are they present in your warehouse? If so, then there is a clear path to adjust them and gain efficiency and accuracy, often with a very strong ROI. Hopefully the insights from today have given you a roadmap or at least sparked ideas on how to get started. Now, as I mentioned, if you have any further questions or would like to discuss how these solutions can apply to your business, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can see my contact information there. You can contact me by my phone number, by email, write to me on WhatsApp, connect with me on Telegram, all the different options. So what else did I want to mention here? So we won't be holding a live Q&A session in this webinar, but I'm absolutely available to you for any inquiries afterwards, so please feel free to get in touch. Looking forward actually to that. We truly value your interest and feedback as well, so if you would like to just reach out to give some feedback as well, that would be great as well. But yeah, that'd be awesome. I would appreciate any kind of feedback, any kind of communication in regards to the about an hour that we spent here today exploring all the different options for warehouse automation. So again, any kind of feedback as well would be appreciated, or you can comment under this post. As I mentioned, share the video with a couple of your colleagues. Maybe you know someone who would benefit from warehouse and inventory automations. But I think that's about it. I think that's about it. Thank you very much for attending. Again, it's been a pleasure sharing these examples and practices with you. And again, I hope that the session was insightful and inspired some people to look at their operations and maybe start looking into automating their inventory management. That's about it. So appreciate your time. Thank you so much. It's been Stan from Cleverence. I wish you all great success in optimizing your warehouse and inventory management. Have a wonderful day, and I'll look forward to possibly speaking with you soon. Thank you so much. Cheers. Bye-bye.